Have you ever had a prospect that seemed interested at first and then broke off later for any random reason? Maybe something comes up, maybe the interest just slowly fades away, maybe they make an excuse that you know actually isn't real, or even worse, they just disappear and never talk to you again. Why does any of this actually happen? This is most likely because of something called heavy intrigue-based marketing. Heavy intrigue-based marketing is when you rely on a lack of information to motivate the buyer or over-promising information. Things like, oh, there's this little-known method to do all these great things, you just have to click here to find out. Or something like, oh, this doesn't require any effort at all, you won't have to do anything, and you literally just get all the results you want plus more. These offers usually have no parameters, they work with anyone and everyone, they don't have any requirements, and they say literally anyone can do this. Which can be good, but without intent, the prospect just ends up running off. So how do you actually fix this? You fix this with something called a balance of intent and intrigue in your marketing. Intent is when you get people who are more committed by intentionally, see what I did there, targeting less people. Instead of trying to target as many people as possible, you try to eliminate as many people as possible. This is what your business should be based around. And not only trying to eliminate as many people as possible, but the one target audience that you do have that is very specific, you talk to them in a way that wouldn't make sense for any other target audience, because that's naturally a way to eliminate everyone else. For example, instead of just marketing your solution, if you're in the financial space, oh, you'll make a lot of money, in the relationship space, oh, you'll get married, or in the health space, you'll get a six-pack in 2 weeks. Instead of just marketing a solution, you connect a problem to a solution. For example, if you're a dad who has gotten out of shape in your 30s, maybe you used to be in shape in your 20s or in your teenage years in high school, but as fatherhood and adulthood came on, you slowly gained that weight as well, and you're at the point where you might not even care about it anymore because it's just a regular thing and a part of you. You've accepted defeat almost, that you have no time and it's too hard to lose this weight. You've never really even given it much thought after that. Then there's this specific thing that can actually help dads by working around their schedule, not requiring crazy meal prep, not requiring 2 hours a day in the gym, and you just do XYZ thing. That way, instead of having everyone say, hey, I want a six-pack in 2 weeks, and everyone just clicking on your ad, and then when they realize, oh, I have to pay or I have to do this, they click off, it's only specifically dads who are in a certain situation who know this is specifically for them moving forward. That way, they're not clicking to just get a six-pack in 2 weeks. They're clicking because they have had this situation for the past XYZ months or years, and they know that you can solve it. They have much higher intent. You can also do things like reverse psychology marketing. You can say, literally, yes, this will require effort. This is not a magic pill. Yes, you will get in shape, but it will require a little bit of gym time or a little bit of working out at home time and eating a bit healthier, maybe cutting down a few beers. That way, that filters out even more people coming into your funnel. Instead of people thinking, oh, I can just do whatever I want, I'll get a six-pack in 2 weeks. They might think it's free because you're guaranteeing such crazy things and because you have so many people generally reaching out. This way, someone is more in the real world. If someone is in La La Land and they just click, oh, I want a six-pack in 2 weeks, you don't know my situation, you don't know where I'm at, but I'll magically get a six-pack in 2 weeks, nothing is reasonable. You can't reason with them because it's unreasonable. It's an unreasonable offer to overclaim, over-guarantee, promise all these crazy things, and then expect that when it comes to money, you'll get a lot of money. Or keep it, because if you overpromise, even if they pay you, they end up refunding or disputing in the long run. That's why some companies die out due to refunds and disputes, even if it looks like they're doing well on the surface. Now, here's the nuance. You do need a balance of intrigue and intent, because if you lean too far into one, then you're not going to get many people. If you lean too far into intrigue, you might get a lot of people reaching out, but no one actually moving forward, and those who do move forward will refund. If you rely way too heavily on intent, then you won't have anyone reaching out in the first place because you're pretty much pitching your offer, you're doing your full sales page, your sales call, your full pitch in your very first touch point with someone. Because that's technically the way to build the most intent, so that when someone is on a call with you, they already buy because they've heard your entire pitch. But at that point, how many people will actually read all of that and reach out? Slim to none. So you need a balance of both. So here are 3 ways to see which parts of your funnel, which parts of your sales process have too high intrigue levels and how to replace that with some intent in order to balance the two out. Because most of the time, 99% of the time, most businesses have too much intrigue, not enough intent. It's not the other way around. That's very rare. Number one is if you lead with claims. If you lead with claims, someone comes into your business and comes into your entire sales process with the claim. It is, again, very unreasonable because they're not focused on the process, they're focused on the outcome, which is good in a way, but if you rely too heavily on it, it's not going to work out. In my very own video sales letters and in my very own processes, I break down the process and how to do it at a very deep level so that my prospects partially understand it, and they're not just hopping on a call asking me how can they make 10, 50, 100,000, $1 million with no intent of actually going through the process and doing their part. So instead, replace leading with claims with leading with problems that then lead into how you do certain things that then lead into solutions. And in there, you can have mixes of outcomes. For example, let's take the fitness coach again. If you're a dad who has struggled with losing weight all this time, you've gained weight over time, then here is a little known way to lose that weight, become healthy, all that jazz. Then you go into the problem, right? Go into what kind of caused it. It's of course the stress, you became a father, all of this. You could even add some justification, right? Blame it on something else. Then go more in depth even into how you'll actually help them, how your protocol is very specific in being around their time, not having to, like I said, gym, meal prep all this time. And then you can include outcomes in there, right? If you do this, yes, you will, have a six-pack like you did in your 20s. You'll do this, you'll do that. But at this point, it's very reasonable and they know what's actually going on. And of course, that they'll have to pay you for the process that you're actually teaching them. Then you can end off with your solution. Now, in order to get that six-pack, do this, do that, feel closer to your family, all that jazz, then click here to book a call, to buy this, whatever your call to action is. So number one, replace your claims marketing with problem to solution marketing. Number two, a very big one, is qualification. A lot of coaches, mentors, consultants will get a lot of dopamine per every positive response, every sales call booked. But then when half of their sales calls are no-shows and the other half are unqualified, it all comes crashing down and they realize what really matters, which is qualified prospects. You don't get qualified prospects by marketing to everybody. And so the second best thing you can really do in your ads and throughout your funnel in general is qualification, meaning audience callouts at the beginning of your ad. Notice that when I said my problem opener, I also included an identifier. I said, if you're a busy dad who has gained weight over all of this time, then blah, blah, blah. Notice the two things there are not only the problem, gained weight over all of this time, but it's also an audience callout. You're a busy dad. And that's just the opening. Audience qualification can be applied to every step of the funnel because you're not only working with dads who are busy, you're also working with busy dads who can actually afford your services. So before you book someone for a call, have a form that financially qualifies them, builds intent by financially qualifying them and asking them their specific problems and what they're looking to achieve. And that way you are further narrowing down your audience to someone who will actually work with you. So number one, go from claim marketing to problem solution marketing. Number two, include qualification steps at every point in your funnel. Number three, consequence. Do the act of consequencing your prospect. If they don't take action, then something will happen. Because, okay, now you've gotten people who are actually in a good portion of your audience, who are your audience, and you've got people who can afford your program, they're a good fit. But what if they don't want to change now? What if they want to change in 5 or 10 years? You have to consequence them of what happens if they don't switch now. A lot of the time, that is their situation just ongoing. Meaning, if you take a busy dad, great example still, who has been fat all of this time, he can notice that he hasn't had the energy to play with his kids. He could do this, he could do that. You could look in the mirror, name moments where he's caught himself, looked in the mirror, ran up a flight of stairs or, jogged up a flight of stairs, realized he was out of breath by the top, all that jazz, and say, do you want that to keep happening for the next 5 or 10 years? Because you've already let it happen for 3 to 5 years or 10 years, however long it's been. And have you enjoyed it? No, that's why you're here. That's why earlier, by the way, problem solution marketing, they've admitted to having a problem first. Once they admit they have a problem, you can do all of these great things like consequencing them. Do you want to have the same problem for 5, 10 more years? And not only that, but it'll get worse because you're getting older. This way, they're not only reasonable and have intent, not just are intrigued to reach out, because you have connected your solution to their problem, and because they're a qualified audience segment plus a qualified audience for your offer, they also want to do it now, which is the last step. Make these 3 changes, switch the claims you have to not lead with claims, but at least lead with problem solution. Claims can back it up, of course, because you do need to have something tangible there, lose 10 pounds, lose 20 pounds, but don't lead with it. Number 2, qualify your audience at every step through the demographics, busy dad, through their commitment, do you actually want to do this? Through number 3, their finances, if they can actually afford it. And then lastly, make sure if they want to do it, they want to do it now by consequencing them and future pacing them. These 3 things will help you build intent in your marketing, which will balance out all of the intrigue you've already probably worked so hard on from learning from other people. You have to have this big, crazy, unique thing. You've already built up a ton of intrigue in your business. You just need that intent and you will make a lot more sales. If this helped, like, subscribe, comment, follow me on my other socials, and be sure to check out our website. I will talk to you in the next one.